Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Devil May Cry 5 on the Steam Deck, so yet another RE Engine game. I love testing those on the channel, so let's get to it. This is verified, and I usually like to play games like this at 60 frames, so that's our target today. So 800p, native resolution. There was no FSR at this point, it was pretty rare, but I'm going to talk about that later. So 100% resolution, texture quality on ultra, texture filtering on ultra, meshes on high. I disable motion blur, but if you want to use it, you can enable it. Medium effects for performance reasons, shadows on high, ambient occlusion on SSAO, volumetric light quality on low for performance reasons. This doesn't have on or off, it's variable or off. And that's basically it. Let's get to it. So the thing with this one, has multiple levels, quite a few levels actually. And I'm at the prologue, in this part that has a good amount of effects. Oh, by the way, sorry for interrupting. I limited to 60 and hang on. And allow tearing. If you're having issues with stutter while at all times without stopping, allow tearing, turn it off. But so far the stuttering has been an issue in this game for me. Even when it came out, I don't remember when it came out, but the last time I played this was in 2020. So it's been 3 years since I touched this game. So in the prologue, you're supposed to die at the beginning. I'm doing this on purpose so we get effects on screen. And as you can see, still at 60 frames. That's why effects were on medium instead of high or ultra. Because it can get quite effect heavy when you get more powerful later on. So yeah, as you can see, that's the very first level. Let's jump into the next one, because, well, I finished the game and I'm using all my health from the beginning of the game, from the end of the game. But as you can see, effect heavy parts, so far so good. Let's jump into the next one. One thing I forgot to mention is that, well, don't expect 60s on cutscenes. Since you're not playing the game in the cutscenes, I don't really mind, but maybe you guys do. In case that happens, you might want to use interlace rendering, but it looks terrible in my opinion. Where it says rendering mode or normal or interlaced. Interlace will give you lots more performance. Alright. So the thing here is I'm going to play some levels that I've played before that had lots of effects and see what happens. Also some traversal because there's stutter. There's not as much stutter right now because the shaders compiled the first time I played. So yeah. Alright. But I'm surprised always about this game on how well it runs. It's very well optimized. I saw people running it on basically potato computers with, I mean, for real. And some people even modded the config files to lower the graphics even further. So yeah, that's pretty impressive, I would say. Props to Capcom. It runs at 60 even on Xbox One. Somehow. But to be fair, it's not open world, so on linear games it makes more sense. Reduce 2 atoms. Cool. Let's continue. Oops, wrong button. Well, now some destruction. Still, we're good. Doesn't seem to matter. The Steam Deck doesn't care.
Not making it easy for me, huh?
Continue here. We skip the cutscene, of course. Come on. There we go. guns on fire. But again, it's not a super demanding game at all. And if you want to save battery life, there's two options. You can either sacrifice the frame rate by locking it to 40, so you get 20 frames less, but on the 7-inch screen it looks fine, and you get the same graphics. And the other option is to go to the options. On PC options, you'll see something called, as I mentioned before, rendering method. So on normal, I'm using 80% of the GPU, and on interlaced, I'm using 80% still, but at a lower, how to say this, at a lower graphical fidelity. Let me show you that. So on normal, I get 105 FPS on the pause menu, but when I go interlaced, I get like 20 frames more. So it's a big performance improvement, but just sacrifice the resolution. I don't think it's worth doing, but if you want to save battery, I would say interlaced rendering and a 40 FPS cap. That would be the best of both worlds. Well, the best of both worlds. The least battery life intensive thing. You will use less GPU, less CPU, and that affects battery life directly. But with a 60 FPS cap, I think it's good enough. I'm going to show you 40 FPS, but using a camera pointed at the Steam Deck, I'm going to experiment with that. Let's see how it looks, so stick around if you want to check that out. Alright guys, now I chose daytime level, so there's more shadows and all the good stuff. I honestly forgot all about this one. I thought everything was nighttime. We skip this. Okay, at least I remember how to tether onto enemies and get them closer. But it's so weird to play this again. In a way that the controls are fine, but you really do forget how to play this game. Just the fact that you use Y or triangle to attack with the sword feels weird to me. I'm not used to it. But I finished the game and I had a great time. You play as 3 characters. You play as Nero, then as a V, and then as Dante. Dante is pretty interesting, has a very badass way of being controlled. But otherwise, there's also a DLC that you can play as Virgil.
Gotta start somewhere.
And I don't know, I think that adds lots of variety to the game. You don't stick with one character. It feels like a different character in a fighting game. So you guys have a reference on what it feels like. But it's been a while, yeah, since I played this. Happy to give it another shot. It's so smooth on the Steam Deck, it's ridiculous. Still, as many other games. I don't know, this one just hits different. It's not a game I expect to play at 60 on a handheld. Let's leave it at that. But as you can see, daytime is still good. So I'll say these settings are good enough. Anyway, let's now jump into 40 Hz, but pointing a camera at the Steam Deck screen so you understand how it looks like, at least on that size. And if you guys like that, please let me know. So let's swap into camera footage pointed at the Steam Deck screen. Be right back. Alright guys, so I'm back now on this experiment trying to use a camera feed on the Steam Deck screen. As you can see now, I'm using the per game profile, refresh rate 40 Hz, allow tearing, lock to 40. This should give us a good battery life. Plus the game will still look smooth, so that's good by me. Let's see, here we go, first time trying this. Oh god. I can barely see what I'm doing, that's okay. Let me crank up the volume though, so you can at least hear the game. You can probably not hear it still. The thing is, it still feels smooth at 40 Hz, especially on a tiny screen like this one. So yeah. But still, it looks pretty good. Especially on native resolution. That's kind of mind-blowing. Okay. Let me continue. And as you can see, the battery life that the Steam Deck is saying that it's going to be is, let me zoom in, 3.5 hours here. But let's jump into the other levels that I tried and give it another shot. Let's see the battery life there. Alright guys, I'm back now. As you can see, I'm at the beginning again, but now, yeah, at least 2 hours of battery with a 40 FPS cap. Let's get into something more demanding. Before that, let me show you the entire screen. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste, right? It's not nice to look at otherwise. Okay. I hope it stays focused on the screen. I'm recording this at 4K. And as you can see, despite being 1280 by 800, it's not using the entire screen. It's locked to 16 by 9. That's kind of a bummer, if you ask me. But with the black bars on the Steam Deck, that's okay. Okay. Okay, never mind. It says 3 hours of battery when I'm fighting here. So, interesting. 2 hours seem pretty nice, but 3 hours. Wow. That's kind of insane if you ask me. Okay. And at 40 Hz again, on the tiny screen, it looks pretty smooth. Way smoother than 30. You probably heard that a lot on the internet. Okay. And apologies if the audio is not possible to be listened to. I'm trying something new here. We'll see what happens. Alright. Reduce two atoms. Okay. Good stuff. So 3 hours of battery. That's insane, guys. 3 hours, I'm at 97% battery. I don't think I'm recording this at 60 on my phone, actually. So you might see a 30 FPS recording right now, which doesn't show how smooth this actually is. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so that's it for Devil May Cry 5. I hope you guys enjoyed another successful RE title that looks and plays great, very smooth, and you get 3 hours of battery playing at 40 Hz, so that's amazing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.